After a while, the upper echelon of the Ping Hai Company passionately sent the group of people from the Ganwu Continent Investment Department away. Mrs. Luo's intentions, I'm very clear. Bo Tailai smiled, but 12 times is definitely impossible. Madam Luo, please be prepared. As for the report you gave me, I'll definitely let the director personally look through it. Thank you. Su Xian smiled too. After which Bo Tailai headed out, following behind him were a few underlings. Outside the company, there was a streamlined and flat-shaped ship parked. The ship's cabin door had 8 horned men dressed in battle gear standing respectfully. Bo Tailai brought his underlings and boarded the ship, following which the bodyguards entered too. The cabin door closed and they quickly flew away. Big Sister Su, our restaurant's ingredients purchase. The short-haired lady beside Su Xian shouted. I still have things to do, you settle the company's general matters. Su Xian ordered. Yes. The short-haired lady replied. Su Xian waved her hand towards the sky. Suddenly, a carriage pulled by a heavenly horse with wings descended from the sky. Su Xian jumped on and said, to the teleportation point. Go. The driver shook the reins and the horse immediately soared into the sky. Virtual Universe, Black Dragon Mountain Island 9-Star Bay District. Dad, right now the eastern half of the 9-Star Bay District belongs to us, we've hired the best architects on Earth, borrowing from the many buildings in the universe, it's just been built. A man with a gentle smile on his face, seemingly very handsome, pointed at the surrounding buildings that looked like a celestial palace. HM not bad. LuoFeng nodded. LuoPeng, your mom isn't back yet? LuoFeng asked. I've already informed her, it's just that her company headquarters is in the Ganwu continent, she has to go there every day, and you rarely come back, hence she decided to go online at the company. LuoPeng said. Under normal circumstances, if one had property in the virtual universe, they could go online at the company. And Su Xian had set her address at the company. Set it at the company? LuoFeng was a little ashamed, he had only returned once in a while. Dad. Luo Hua pointed at the distant luxurious mansions. Because you're staying here, the 9-Star Bay District's prices have soared. Some of the original residents here had almost all sold their land to people with status. Those big shots also want to get close to you, Dad. After all, Dad, you are considered to be someone with status in our Black Dragon Mountain starfield. Oh. LuoFeng laughed in shock. That was right. The members of the Virtual Universe Headquarters Absolute Beginning Region, the leader of the guard team were all sector lords recognized by the laws. In terms of position, LuoFeng was even higher than the Black Dragon Mountain Empire's emperor. Even the Undying behind the Black Dragon Mountain Empire had to give LuoFeng face. A small star region was just a small corner in the vast universe. It wasn't strange for a group of powerful people to want to live close to LuoFeng. Mr. LuoPeng. Far away, a bald fatty with a 3-meter-tall furry pet was strolling leisurely with 2 servants following him. When he saw LuoPeng he called out enthusiastically. Baxter LuoPeng called out with a smile. This bald fatty had a scale-like scalp on his head, after which he looked shocked at LuoFeng. Mr. LuoPeng, this is my father. LuoPeng smiled. Ah, Lord LuoFeng. The bald fatty bowed respectfully, bending his body close to his stomach, after which he looked up and said excitedly, Lord LuoFeng, it's an honor to meet you. I just moved here 8 years ago, I've always worshipped Lord LuoFeng, I didn't expect to meet you today, it's really an honor for me, Baxter. LuoFeng smiled, how do you do, Baxter? Ah. This Baxter was immediately flushed red with excitement. Dad, Mom is back. LuoPeng pointed in midair. Su Xian? LuoFeng turned to look. In midair, Su Xian sat in the carriage pulled by the horses, slowly descending. Su Xian. LuoFeng ran over. Su Xian lowered her head and looked at LuoFeng, her eyes filled with tears. When the carriage was about to descend, she immediately leapt off and landed on the ground. You still know to return. Su Xian stared at LuoFeng. Ah. LuoFeng was ashamed. How long has it been? How long has it been since I've returned? Su Xian stared at him. LuoFeng was embarrassed to reply. 10 years? You haven't returned for over 10 years. Su Xian couldn't help but feel a sense of anger. I know you have to study in Primal Chaos City, but you can't occasionally come back to see the children, me and your parents? Sorry. LuoFeng said softly. Right. 10 years. The last time he studied in Primal Chaos City was 3 years and 9 months, and the Primal Universe had a slower time flow, 3 years and 9 months there, over 10 years had passed in the actual universe. And the virtual universe's time flow was the same as the actual universe. 10 years. Su Xian stared at LuoFeng. All right. LuoFeng gently extended his arms and hugged Su Xian. I promise I'll try my best to come back every year unless something special happens. Su Xian nodded. She only wanted to remind LuoFeng because in the past 30 years, whether it was Earth or the Luo family, there had been shocking changes. For example, the Earth people had a lot of status in the Milky Way galaxy, the Luo family's power was getting stronger and stronger, everyone was very clear this was all because of LuoFeng. LuoFeng was one of the 5 Leviathans of humanity, the Virtual Universe Company's core member. Let's go home. LuoFeng said. Let's go home. Su Xian nodded. The family of 3 immediately walked back. Su Xian glanced at the distant fatty, saying softly, that fatty is called Baxson. He has over 30,000 life planets as his territory, he controls trillions of human slaves, he's a large slave supplier, On the surface he looks sincere and foolish, in truth he's vicious and merciless. Ah. Luo Feng looked shocked. That was a fatty? With over 30,000 life planets as his territory? Wasn't that even stronger than the Newland Shan family from back then? At our doorstep he naturally has to be low profile, he has to please us. Su Xian's eyes gleamed with disdain. LuoPing, don't interact with such people in the future. Right, your mother is right. Luo Feng nodded. Different statuses, different horizons. Back then when he was still a small figure on Earth, the Newland Shan family was a huge being. Baxson, a large slave supplier, was even more terrifying. However now, the leader of LuoFeng's guard team was a sector lord. With one order, he could wipe out a small family like this in the starfield. Dad, Mom, we have to get to know people from all walks of life. LuoPing smiled. You and your brother are really different. Luo Feng couldn't help but exclaim. 30? A loud voice resounded from not too far away. Its second brother? LuoFeng's eyes gleamed. It had been 10 years since the last time he returned to 9-Star Bay. Returning home this time, Luo Feng realized his family was already considered a large family. Even his grandchildren had their own families. Right now many of the Luo family's matters in the Milky Way galaxy were mainly controlled by Su Xian and his eldest son LuoPing. As for his youngest son Luo Hai, he was a complete training madman, pursuing the limits of the human body, becoming an absolute warrior in the universe. What was it for? 1 was his own dreams, 2 was for his family and home. Times. Luo Feng stayed in 9-Star Bay for 3 days, after which his consciousness returned to Primal Chaos City. The only thing that disappointed him was, he didn't get to see Hong. From what Thunder God said, Hong seemed to be undergoing very important training, blocking all emails and calls. He couldn't be contacted at all. Ping Hai Company level 89. Su Xian stood before the French window, gazing down at the beautiful and vast city. Knock. A knocking sound resounded. Enter. Su Xian shouted. A slim and graceful short-haired lady dressed in work clothes walked in, smiling. Big Sister Su, how have you been these 3 days? Su Xian immediately smiled. Big Sister Su, this is the document from Bo Te Lai. The short-haired lady handed it over. Ah. Su Xian accepted. The Virtual Universe Company was split into the business department and the military department. Of course the upper echelon of the business department and the military department belonged to the core. The upper echelon of the core was the true ruling class. Business was a very important part of the Virtual Universe Company. However, in this Virtual Universe world, even the Virtual Universe Company didn't manage all the businesses themselves, because they were very clear. If they forcefully controlled all the businesses, it would greatly restrict their economic capabilities, and would also restrict the large amounts of funds flowing into the real world. Creating a fair and free environment, only then would many superpowers in the real world be willing to throw in money. Otherwise it would be unfair, monopolizing everything, those tycoons, powers who would throw in money. In the Virtual Universe there were all sorts of companies, competing etc. And a few companies with high potential, would usually be bought over by many large powers. Big Sister Su, the Universe First Bank is also willing to buy our company, and the conditions they gave are very good too. Why did you immediately reject them? The short-haired lady said. We don't have to worry about development funds. Su Xian lowered her head and flipped through the documents in her hands. Since that's the case, why are you willing to negotiate with the Virtual Universe Company? The short-haired lady asked curiously. Su Xian was shocked. I'm very curious. The short-haired lady said sincerely, Big Sister Su, I followed you for close to 40 years. We've developed step by step, even following our Chinese culture. We've created a chain restaurant. Many of our staff were trained on Earth. We've tried our best to set up barriers, making it impossible for the outside world to imitate us. Our Ping Hai restaurant brand has long been established. And with large amounts of funds, with Mr. Luo Hua in charge of the investment department, the cash we earn, Mr. Luo Hua gets a second boost. This way of earning money is extremely fast. Our assets are exceptional. Plus the Ganwu Universe country. Due to Lord LuoFeng's relationship, they've given us protection and support. Our development definitely won't be a problem. There's no need to give shares to others. Right. Su Xian nodded. Entering the Virtual Universe and working hard for close to 40 years, this business was like another child to her. How could she bear to give it to others? However, it's different. Su Xian said softly, the Virtual Universe Company and the Universe First Bank are different. How different? The short-haired lady asked curiously. Because, my husband too is from the Virtual Universe Company. Su Xian turned through the glass looking at the sky outside. Luo Feng, he's very exceptional and powerful. On Earth he was like that, the most exceptional. However, because of that, he's gotten further and further away from me. Like this time, he hasn't returned for a whole 10 years. The short-haired lady opened her mouth but didn't say a word. Luo Feng was the pride of Earth. However, to Luo Feng's family, he had indeed neglected them. I don't blame him. I'm proud of him. Su Xian looked out the window, revealing a smile. It's just that, I don't want to be left further and further behind by him. I want to be able to stand beside him as close as possible. Big Sister Su. The short-haired lady wanted to say something but didn't know what to say. Becoming a subsidiary of the Virtual Universe Company, I'll also be an internal member of the Virtual Universe Company. Su Xian smiled. As long as I manage the subsidiary to a high enough level, I'll be accepted as a core member. When that time comes, I'll be able to enter Yu Xiang Mountain too. Core member? The short-haired lady was shocked. She didn't expect Su Xian's goal to be so big. The one thing I'm looking forward to the most is meeting Luo Feng in Yu Xiang Mountain. Su Xian said softly. Humanity's sacred training land, Primal Chaos City, an unremarkable training residence within a resting room. Luo Feng sat in a chair, his head lowered as he looked at the book the black-robed messenger had given him. The book had these words. To be able to pass the 18th level of the Heavenly Bridge, they are the true elites of humanity, they are the leaders amongst the Undyings, they can immediately obtain the rights to be a permanent resident of Primal Chaos City, and they can also open their own schools within Primal Chaos City to accept disciples and teach, they are highly respected. And the warriors that come to Primal Chaos City, as long as they pass the 3rd level of the Heavenly Bridge, they will be able to attend the classes. You can attend any of the teacher's classes. However, if you want to become a disciple of a particular teacher, then the first time you attend a class, you have to choose to attend the teacher's class to show respect, after which you will request to take him as your teacher. If you receive the teacher's approval, then you'll have succeeded. Remember. Unless you don't want to take him as your teacher, otherwise if you want to take him as your teacher, you have to attend his first class, this is a form of respect. After reading this, Luo Feng finally understood why the black-robed messenger said the first class was very important. Take him as a teacher? Luo Feng frowned. Taking him as a teacher is good, Luo Feng, to be able to teach in Primal Chaos City, they are all the leaders amongst the Undyings, they are all emperors. Babata shouted excitedly, when you're still weak, to have an absolute warrior to teach you, it's such an important thing. For example, if True Yin Emperor didn't remind you before learning floating blood, you'd probably end up like a normal warrior. I already have a teacher. Luo Feng felt a little uneasy within. No problem. Babata didn't care, the strong of the universe have extremely long lifespans. They might find a teacher at the Star Traveler level, another at the Universe level, and another at the Sector Lord level. Different levels of strength, different horizons, the teachers they need are different too. It's normal for a strong warrior to have tens of teachers. Ah. Luo Feng nodded. It was like that in the universe, to be able to rank in the top 1000 of the universe genius battles, how many of them didn't have a teacher? However, if these geniuses knew that the universe country leaders wanted to take them as disciples, they would definitely be very excited. Back then when Rong Jun became a disciple of the Yuanshin universe country leader, it made many jealous. Who should I choose? Luo Feng looked at the information of the 18 leaders of the 9 universe sect. These were all masters among undying beings. They were much stronger than his previous teacher, the Yun Mo Planet Master. The Yun Mo Planet Master could barely become a marquis, and these masters were all considered very strong even amongst emperors. Many of their disciples were undying. Choose who? Luo Feng muttered, very quickly finishing reading the information of the 18 leaders. Within Primal Chaos City, the 9 universe sect has a total of 18 sect leaders. Of these 18 leaders, 4 of them belong to the Virtual Universe Company. They are Flame Dragon Emperor, True Yen Emperor, Thousand Illusion Emperor and Blade Emperor. They all sound terrifying. Flame Dragon King? I've seen him fight before. Babata shouted excitedly, back then when your teacher and I entered a universe secret region, we experienced many dangers and entered a planet covered in ice currents. I saw it with my own eyes. In that ice currents, the Flame Dragon King directly transformed into a star, enveloping tens of undyings within, burning them to ashes. They couldn't be more dead. Become a star? Luo Feng was stunned. Even more terrifying than a true star. Undyings, destroying a star is too easy. However, the star that the Flame Dragon King transformed into, in terms of temperature, it's much higher than a true star. One move and it killed tens of undyings, 2 of which were human undyings, along with automaton and other races. The Flame Dragon King is a very, very terrifying being. Ah. Luo Feng held his breath. Even the bastard who killed your teacher back then couldn't even take one move from him. I didn't expect him to be teaching in Primal Chaos City now. Babata exclaimed. Flame Dragon, Thousand Illusion, Blade Emperor, True Yen. Luo Feng looked at the information of the 4, his eyes filled with desire. The warriors of Primal Chaos City were mostly split into 5 big factions. Virtual Universe Company, Battleaxe Dojo, Universe First Bank, Universe Galaxy Bank and Universe Mercenary Alliance. Only a few of them were lone warriors with no background or power. Within a mansion. Haha, Blade Emperor, don't be too confident. The ape-man True Yen laughed loudly. Why don't you take a look? A man dressed in purple armor and carrying a golden blade on his back laughed loudly. You 3, one is an ape-man, one a dragon man and the last one is always gloomy. Only me, only I. Blade Emperor looked the most similar to the people of Earth. If he doesn't choose me, who would he choose? Blade Emperor, accepting a master doesn't depend on looks. With 2 dragon horns, his face was covered in red dragon scales, his eyes made one feel as though they were 2 miniature stars. Flame Dragon, in terms of strength, I'm not weaker than you. Blade Emperor laughed loudly. Blade Emperor is too arrogant. From what I see, he's miscalculated this time. A black-robed man that looked almost illusory sat there. However, this Luo Feng, he's indeed a rare seedling of our 9 universe sect in over 100 million years, actually comprehending the floating blood first blade form in 10 years. His talent is very powerful, very powerful. Hence, he has to accept me as his master. I'm a sword user. Blade Emperor laughed. The 4 of them. They were all from the 9 universe sect, and they were all members of the Virtual Universe Company. Moreover, they were all undying masters. They all taught in Primal Chaos City, hence their relationship was very good. Every once in a while, the four of them would gather together to discuss the Tao and even spar with each other. As for Luo Feng, this was an unexpected surprise for the Nine Universe sect. Every batch of geniuses had their most dazzling ones like this Bolin. He was the most exceptional in 10 million years. Luo Feng didn't attract much attention from the four at the start, however he fiercely broke through the second and third levels. Obviously he only used 10 years to comprehend the floating blood first blade form. This talent, others didn't know, but the four of them who studied the Nine Universe tablet were very clear. Terrifying. Extremely terrifying. To be able to learn from Lian Luo back then, studying the essence of the universe space, one had to have absolute talent, mental state and comprehension. If one couldn't comprehend the first blade form within 20 years, it meant there was no hope. However, Luo Feng did it within 10 years. Bolin's main problem is that he had too much of a lead at the start. If we don't count the initial lead in terms of improvement speed, this Luo Feng doesn't lose out to Bolin at all. The black-robed man's solemn voice resounded, praising, maybe in over 100 million years, there are a few that can match up to Luo Feng, but they might not choose our Nine Universe sect. Our Nine Universe sect, an absolute genius that only appears once in 100 million years. Flame Dragon Emperor exclaimed. How can we not nurture such a genius? The four all admired Luo Feng, such a rare elite disciple. It was normal for them to like him, because such an absolute genius. If he didn't fall, he would have a high chance of becoming an official or even emperor. To be able to nurture an emperor disciple, their own position would be very high too. The teacher and disciple relationship was a very strong one. Blade, it's useless to be happy now, just wait and see when the time comes who he chooses as his teacher. True Yen rubbed the golden fur on his chin, laughing. Then we'll wait and see. Blade Emperor said confidently. Beside, Flame Dragon Emperor and Thousand Illusion Emperor smiled as they watched. A few days later, Virtual Universe, a special plane. A tall and majestic temple floated in the clouds, and True Yen directly appeared in the square in front of the temple. There were many guards standing in the square, and each guard was tall and short, but they all had one thing in common, and that was ape-man. Whether it was a black-haired ape-man, golden-haired ape-man, or a long-armed ape-man, the color of their fur, height and body shape may be different, but they were all ape-men. True Yan's expression was gloomy. He took big steps towards the shrine door. Leader. The guards all bowed respectfully. True Yen rushed straight into the shrine. On the thrones, there were already 16 ape-men seated. These 16 saw True Yen rush in, their expressions changed. What's going on? True Yen rushed into the shrine, his golden eyes gazing at the other 16. He roared, why does my Kahan clan only have one spot in the Great Alliance's name list? True Yen, you don't have to care about anything in Primal Chaos City. This was a decision made by the other leaders after discussion. One of the 12-meter-tall black-haired ape-men's voice rumbled, resounding throughout the entire shrine. Bullshit. True Yen pointed at the huge ape-man in front of him and roared, our sacred ape-man shrine has 18 leaders. Now that the sacred leader doesn't care, everything is decided by us 18 leaders. I'm also one of the leaders. Usually I'm too lazy to care, but no matter what, don't go overboard. Your King Kong race has 4 spots, my Kahan clan only has 1? True Yen. The black-robed ape-man roared. Shut up. True Yan's gaze swept across everyone. I'm usually too lazy to care about such things, but don't treat me like an idiot. If you're really unhappy, I don't mind fighting in real life. I'll seal you all. The other 15 leaders were speechless, not daring to make a sound. True Yen was indeed an absolute warrior just below the sacred leader. He was the closest to the knight level, and usually didn't interfere with the ape-man race's matters. In short, I don't want to bully you, but don't take me for a fool. True Yen glanced at the group of people around. If there's such a thing again, I won't be arguing with you in the virtual universe, but directly at your residences. With that, True Yen turned around and left. Ape-man, a large proportion of the universe's human race, they could be seen everywhere. The ape-man race was also divided into tens of thousands of races. The ape-man race's sacred palace was the highest level of the ape-man race. This Jin Yen, he even cares about this. Isn't he in Primal Chaos City training to become a knight? A skinny ape-man leader with a pair of fiery red eyes said solemnly. Seems like Jin Yen is still paying attention to his Kahan clan. The hall masters were helpless. Virtual Universe Ganwu Continent, Ping Hai Company 86th floor meeting room. One side was the upper echelon of the Ping Hai Company, the other was the upper echelon of the Virtual Universe Company's investment department in the Ganwu Continent. Su Xian and Bo Te Lai handed over the documents and signed their names on them. Happy cooperation. Su Xian stood up with a smile, raising her glass. After signing the contract, it is the habit of us Earthlings to toast and celebrate. Mr. Bo Te, you should also try our Ping Hai Company's latest tea beverage. Oh. Bo Te Lai took it with a smile. A toast to celebrate? It's novel. The subordinates of both sides also raised their wine cups and toasted together. It's really not bad. This bitter taste circulating in the mouth is really wondrous. Bo Te Lai nodded. I like the name, Ita. Bo Te Lai awkwardly said the pronunciation of the Chinese character, T. Su Xian smiled. I like it too because it can bring a lot of profit. Yes, that's right. Bo Te Lai was beaming with joy. With the technology of the universe, it wasn't hard to research some of Earth's food culture, but in the virtual universe, it was protected by patents. Back then, Su Xian used the fastest speed to register many special things from Earth's culture in the virtual universe network. Even if other companies were to discover some mysteries, they wouldn't be able to plagiarize it, otherwise they would have to pay a huge sum of patent fees. In the future, I'll leave this Ping Hai company to you, Madam Luo, Bo Tailai said, otherwise I'll have to take responsibility for any failed acquisition. Don't worry. Su Xian smiled. Haha, Ping Hai company has such excellent management. Of course I'm not worried. Bo Tailai smiled. Then let's look forward to Ping Hai company becoming a second-tier subsidiary company as soon as possible, preferably within 1,000 years. My goal is to achieve it within 100 years. Su Xian smiled. Oh. Bo's eyes brightened. Right, within 100 years. The sooner the better. Mr. Botley, please take a rest, we have already prepared a celebratory feast. Su Xian smiled, after which she arranged for people to bring the upper echelon of the Ganwu department to rest. Only Su Xian and the short-haired woman were left in the conference room. Big Sister Su, we succeeded, the short-haired woman said excitedly. Let it obtain 51% of the shares at 10.2 times the price. Not bad, right? Su Xian smiled. Including this large investment, our Ping Hai company's total net assets have reached 32,882 mixed elements. When Luo Feng received the reward of 1,000 mixed elements, he gave 300 of them to his brother Luo Hua to operate and 200 of them to Su Xian. But later. As for Su Xian's company, it would be too inefficient to deposit a large amount of profits in the bank. It would be better to let Luo Hua invest in the financial sector. Therefore, Luo Hua also invested in Ping Hai Corporation, and became a very important department of Ping Hai Corporation, the financial investment department. At that time, this was how the shares were distributed. Luo Feng had 50% of the shares, Luo Hua had 25%, and Su Xian had 25%. Back then, Ping Hai Company's total assets reached close to 600 mixed elements. Luo Feng had been in Primal Chaos City for 10 years, however in the actual universe over 30 years had passed. Over the past 30 years, Su Xian had been in charge of the entire company, while Luo Hua had been in charge of financial investments. Over the past 30 years, their assets had increased from nearly 600 mixed element units to nearly 3,000 mixed element units. It seemed like a small increase just a few times. If it was on Earth, this efficiency would be way too low, not even worth mentioning. However, in truth, this was already considered extremely high in the universe. Because the larger the investment, the harder it was to make money. Large investments easily attracted the attention of many financial giants. If one wasn't careful, it was normal to lose out. To earn over 5 times the profits in 30 years? Difficult. Many undyings, with their trillions of years of life, to even double their investments was extremely difficult. As the virtual universe had many ancient beings with their trillions of years of life, along with the virtual universe system's adjustments, it made it so that the currency didn't expand at all. Assuming that one mixed element unit from 100 million years ago, after 100 million years, its purchasing power wouldn't change much. This led to, it was very difficult to make money from a large financial investment. Even Ping Hai Corporation relied on the rapid expansion of the restaurant chain and financial investments to get to this stage. The shares were split again. Ping Hai Corporation's previous shareholders only had 49% of the shares, while the virtual universe company had 51%. And in truth, the previous 3 shareholders Luo Feng, Luo Hua and Su Xian all received huge increases in wealth. Because even though the shares were lesser, Ping Hai Corporation's net worth went from close to 3,000 mixed elements from before to close to 33,000 mixed elements. Luo Feng, Luo Hua and Su Xian, the 3 of them added together had over 160 million mixed elements. The virtual universe company's subsidiaries are split into 3 levels, 2 levels, 1 levels and special levels. Su Xian looked at the document in her hands. If the net worth reaches 1,000 mixed elements, it's a level 3 subsidiary. If the net worth reaches 100,000 mixed elements, it's a level 2 subsidiary. If the net worth reaches 10 million mixed elements, it's a level 1 subsidiary. If the net worth reaches 1 billion mixed elements, it's a special level subsidiary. The business department and the military department were the 2 main parts of the virtual universe company. The manager of the level 3 subsidiary is still considered an outer member. The manager of the level 2 subsidiary can become a core member of the last phase secret region. The manager of the level 1 subsidiary is a member of the sky and land region. The manager of the special level subsidiary is an absolute beginning member. Su Xian looked at the document, her eyes gleaming. Our company's current net worth is close to 33,000 mixed elements. It's not far from 100,000 mixed elements. Su Xian said softly, we'll strive to reach it in 60 years. 60 years. The short-haired lady beside was shocked. The bigger the net worth, the bigger the scale, the harder it was to earn, and the harder it was to rise. 100 million universe dollars, Luo Hua could easily turn it into 1 billion universe dollars in 2 to 3 years. However, if it was 100 million mixed elements, even if Luo Hua was given 1 million to 10 million years, to raise it by 10 times, that was simply a dream. If he could really raise it to 1 billion mixed elements, the virtual universe company would immediately treat him as an absolute being and protect him, immediately arranging for undyings to protect him. Because this speed of earning wealth was even more terrifying than an emperor-level undying. Hence, small fights and squabbles didn't reflect one's level. These huge amounts of wealth and earning power were what the tycoons and big shots were competing for. Obviously the virtual universe company had high hopes for Ping Hai Corporation. 60 years. Su Xian nodded. 60 years to become a level 2 subsidiary, that's too hard. The short-haired lady shook her head. Work hard. Su Xian smiled, thinking within, 60 years here he should have just finished his training in Primal Chaos City. Before he finishes to be able to see him in Yu Xiang Mountain. I think his expression will be very interesting then. Su Xian's eyes were filled with anticipation. Primal Chaos City. This is the place. Luo Feng walked to the entrance of a mansion. At this time, groups of 2 or 3 cultivators entered the mansion. Today's Tru Yan's lecture, I heard he's talking about the 9 universe tablets first to third pictures. Even though I'm currently studying the 4th picture, every time I listen to the basics I gain something. Me too. A scholar is indeed a scholar. Sector lords and even undying warriors all entered the mansion. Luo Feng too entered the mansion. The signal scanner at the entrance scanned Luo Feng and didn't obstruct him. Obviously Luo Feng had the right to listen to the lecture. Within the mansion, a plaza that was 10 kilometers long and wide, there were already hundreds of warriors gathered. There's really a lot of people. Luo Feng sat in a corner. Young man, your first time attending a lecture? Sitting not far from Luo Feng was a bald old man. He could tell with one look that the person before him was only a universe level. Yes. Luo Feng nodded. A universe level attending a lecture, looks like you were chosen from the genius battle, and you're one of the top 2 in the genius battle. The bald old man smiled. At this time, there were already over 1,000 warriors gathered in the plaza. Rumble. An invisible pressure instantly covered the entire square, and the thousands of cultivators gathered in the square all quietened down to show their respect for the Grandmaster. A burly ape wearing golden armor walked toward the square, and with every step, his figure flashed across several kilometers. Behind him, dozens of cultivators followed him. Teleportation, that's teleportation. Tru Yan's ability to teleport has already reached an inconceivable level. Low voices of discussion sounded from below, but the voices were extremely soft. Those following behind him are all his disciples. If we can successfully become his disciples, that would be great. That depends on ability. Without ability, why would Tru Yan accept us? Luo Feng held his breath as he watched. In the distance, Tru Yan sat crossed-legged, beside him sat 10 disciples. As for the others that didn't manage to become his disciple, they were only here to listen to the lecture. Today I'll be carefully explaining the first 3 pictures of the 9 universe tablet. These 3 pictures are the basics. Tru Yan extended his finger and pointed in mid-air. In mid-air complex engravings appeared, almost like the engravings on the golden horned beast scales. This first picture, the origin law revolves, it should be like this. In mid-air, the complex golden engravings revolved, almost like a mechanical wheel, infused with mysterious origin law energy. How mysterious? Luo Feng was dumbstruck. During the lecture, Tru Yan spoke very clearly, his descriptions were also very clear, however the group of warriors still felt that it was extremely mysterious. According to their own experiences, the feeling was different. Alright, today's lecture ends here. 3 days later, Tru Yan said indifferently. Thank you, teacher. Over 1,000 warriors bowed respectfully. At this time, a black-haired youth walked out from the 1,000 warriors, heading straight to the front of the crowd. Immediately the gazes of the 1,000 warriors turned over, filled with shock. Is this punk going to become his disciple? Sitting at the top, Tru Yan revealed a smile. This Luo Feng, he's really going to become Tru Yan's disciple. In another mansion of Primal Chaos City, Blade Emperor who was training shook his head helplessly. To the undying leader before him, Tru Yan Emperor, Luo Feng was filled with gratitude. When I first came to Primal Chaos City, I was just a small fry. Tru Yan's guidance allowed me to walk on the most correct path right from the start. Perhaps to him, it was just a casual instruction, but to me, it will probably affect the future for billions of years to come. Luo Feng respectfully knelt down. According to the rules of Primal Chaos City, under the gaze of over 1,000 warriors, he respectfully shouted, Teacher, please accept me as your disciple. Teacher, please accept me as your disciple. His voice reverberated. Thousands of cultivators looked at Tru Yan. To accept or not to accept? Haha. Tru Yan looked at Luo Feng, laughing loudly. From today onwards, you are my disciple. Wah. There was an uproar below. Follow me. Tru Yan stood up, leading the group of disciples behind him. Luo Feng followed too. What? Tru Yan Emperor accepted Luo Feng as his disciple? The handsome Gusi Luo frowned. Right now, Luo Feng and Bolin both have undying leaders as teachers. And Rong Jun, he even has a universe country leader as his teacher. They were originally in the lead, and now with a teacher guiding them, their improvement will definitely be even faster. Gusi Luo gritted his teeth. I have to hurry up and pass the 3rd level as soon as possible. Only then can I acknowledge him as my master. Madman, you really can't underestimate him. Within the training grounds, the perspiring Rong Jun said seriously, my opponent isn't just Bolin, there's still Luo Feng. F***CK. Tru Yan is accepting a disciple? Prince Wuka of the Manka planet could only growl in a low voice and try his best. This group of geniuses all felt pressure, because it was not easy to become the disciple of an undying ancestor-level figure. First of all, passing the 3rd level was the prerequisite, and usually, out of the 1,000 people chosen from the genius competition, The number of people who could make it to the third level in 30 years could be counted on one's fingers. In the previous genius battles, there were many times where less than 5 people managed to make it past the first 3 levels. Even if there were many geniuses gathered in a certain year, there would not be more than 10 of them. Even if one passed the first 3 levels, those undying experts rarely accepted disciples. Most of these old monsters had lived for billions of years. It would be a very, very long time before he would truly accept a disciple. As time passed, none of these geniuses would slack off. Especially when they still had a large number of targets in front of them to catch up to, these geniuses erupted with astonishing motivation. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. On his 13th year in Primal Chaos City, Rongjun passed the 3rd level. On his 19th year in Primal Chaos City, Luo Feng passed the 4th level, and on that day Bolin passed the 5th. The two of them were far ahead of the others. On this day Rongjun and the others tried to break through, but no one succeeded. On his 21st year in Primal Chaos City, Wuka passed the 3rd level. After 25 years in Primal Chaos City, Long Yun and Jiao Laishi passed the 3rd level. In the 28th year of coming to Primal Chaos City, Qian Shui passed the 3rd level. In the blink of an eye 30 years had passed. Primal Chaos City, Tru Yen Palace. Luo Feng, there's still 10 days before you leave Primal Chaos City. Tru Yen smiled as he looked at Luo Feng. After you leave, if you have any problems with your training you can ask me. As for other worldly matters, I hope you can solve them yourself. Unless you encounter a really big problem that you can't solve, then look for teacher, understand? Yes, teacher. Still dressed in the tight-fitting dark red armor, the black short-haired youth stood there. Even though compared to Tru Yen and the others, he was much smaller and skinnier, the fierce aura he gave off was still shocking. Compared to 30 years ago when he first came to Primal Chaos City, he wasn't as immature as before. There was a sense of ferocity. That was a special aura formed from comprehending the universe origin laws, and his personality fusing with his bones. Tru Yen nodded satisfactorily towards this disciple. He was extremely satisfied. Go. Tru Yen smiled. Luo Feng knelt heavily. This made Tru Yen shake his head and smile. Get up. Thank you, teacher, for your 20 years of teaching. Luo Feng knelt. Your disciple will definitely not let you down. At this time within, Luo Feng was filled with gratitude. This golden-haired ape man before him. Even though his position was high, he treated his disciple very well. 20 years. How long had Luo Feng lived till now? Even though he was grateful to his previous teacher, the master of the Yun Mo planet Hu Yen Bo, he had never truly interacted with him. However, in Primal Chaos City, he had interacted with Tru Yen for 20 years. After 20 years, the teacher and disciple bond was naturally very strong. Haha, don't let me down? Tru Yen rubbed the fur on his chin, laughing. My first goal is to enter the primal region. The second goal is to become an undying and an emperor. Understand? Yes. Luo Feng replied firmly. Over these countless years I've taken in close to 100 disciples. The only one who has truly stepped into the undying level and been named emperor is your 3rd senior. Tru Yen smiled. I'm looking at you now. Luo Feng was very clear. His teacher had taken in a total of 92 disciples, 23 had already fallen, and only 35 followed him in Primal Chaos City. There were a few who were named emperor. Only one was named emperor, and that was the 3rd senior, called Yen Jun, an absolute warrior of the Nakameng clan. He had been under his teacher for a very long time. His teacher had lived for 1 trillion years. To be called the 3rd senior, that was definitely a disciple he took in over 100 million years ago, and now he was the idol of the other seniors. Yen Jun, his title was Bloodthirsty Emperor. In terms of fame he was even stronger than his teacher Tru Yen. Of course, his teacher was extremely close to being a universe country leader. In terms of strength he was definitely stronger than the 3rd senior. Go. Tru Yen smiled and waved his hand. Yes. Luo Feng got up and left. Walking out of his teacher's mansion, he turned back and looked, feeling complicated. The last time I left Earth, this time I'm leaving teacher's place. Luo Feng shook his head. You're still young. After training for 10 million years, you'll get used to it. Babata's voice resounded in his mind. All right. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows. Training for 10 million years, that's in the future. Right now, I haven't even lived for 100 years, there's no need to talk about such a distant matter. Walking on the streets, Luo Feng exclaimed. 30 years. Just a flash. Luo Feng was delighted within. Compared to when I came, I'm already much stronger. Earth's body, as he hadn't trained, hence it had remained at universe level 1. However, after leaving Primal Chaos City, as long as he went to the life pool, it would be very easy to reach universe level 9. In truth, he didn't have any bottlenecks. He could totally break through to domain lord level in one go. The Masha clansman and the golden horned beast were of the same level. As before coming to the Primal Universe, Luo Feng had prepared large amounts of internal world, the metals needed for domain lord level, hence he was able to maintain a normal evolution. Primal Chaos City had a total of 30 years. In the first 10 years he would break through to domain lord level 1. And domain lord level 1 to 3 required 150 years. From level 4 to 6, 600 years. From level 7 to 9, 3,600 years. From domain lord level 9 to sector lord level, it required about 5,000 years. Using the best metals at the domain lord level, it could only raise the evolution efficiency to 52 times. 20 years in Primal Chaos City was equivalent to 1,000 years of normal evolution. Hence, Currently, the Golden Horned Beast and Masha clansmen had both reached Domain Lord level 6. If I go to the life pool, I'll have to stop evolving to Universe level 9. If it evolves to Domain Lord level, LuoFeng thought, that would be troublesome. In theory, Domain Lord level 1 can forcefully evolve to Domain Lord level 9. However, I'm different from others. My improvement is limited by the inner world. His inner world was at the 6th level of the Domain Lord realm, so there was no bottleneck before reaching the 6th level. However, without improving his inner world, it was impossible for his physical body and soul to improve. When the Golden Horned Beast and the Masha clansmen reach the Domain Lord level 9, I'll let the Earth human's body rise to Domain Lord level 9. LuoFeng thought. In Primal Chaos City, my comprehension of the universe origin laws has improved the most. LuoFeng exclaimed. Comprehending the 9 Universe Primal Chaos Tablet, coupled with the teachings of his teacher, True Yen, and comprehending the Floating Blood Secret Manual, he had indeed improved greatly. 10 years ago he understood the first sword technique of floating blood. The entry level was the hardest, because he had experience and a teacher to guide him. What's more, out of the 108 blade techniques, the Raindrop Pictures 9 were the easiest. Hence, after spending 3 years, LuoFeng had comprehended the second blade technique, and another 3 years to comprehend the third. The further he went, the higher his efficiency. On the 28th year in Primal Chaos City, LuoFeng had comprehended the 9th blade technique. Since then, the first picture of the 9 Universe tablet, the Raindrop Picture, had no more secrets in front of LuoFeng. He had completely comprehended it. The first 9 were easy. The middle 27 sword techniques were much more difficult, not to mention the last 72 sword techniques. Right now he was about to leave Primal Chaos City, and Luo Feng still hadn't comprehended the 10th blade technique. Even though I haven't comprehended the 10th blade technique, the second drizzle picture, I've improved a lot since 3 years ago. Luo Feng thought, there's still 10 days before I leave Primal Chaos City. Before I leave, I'll try the Heavenly Bridge again and see if I can pass the 5th level. If I can, I'll be able to study the tablet again. Bringing the last bit of comprehension, I'll slowly absorb it after I leave Primal Chaos City. A huge fish was flying within the unstable primal chaos of the Primal Universe. Within this huge fish, Knight of this batch of 1,000 geniuses, 816 are still alive. Dressed in a jade armor, Jade Emperor bowed and replied, of which the most outstanding is Bolin, he's currently past the 5th level. Next is Luo Feng, he's past the 4th level. Below are the 5 that have passed the 3rd level. Of which the most shocking is Luo Feng, he's past the 4th level in his 19th year in Primal Chaos City, far ahead of the others, his strength is the closest to Bolin's. The other 10 Undyings all waited respectfully. On the other hand, Nine Swords Supremacy was listening to the conversation from his throne. He nodded and said softly, Bolin? Luo Feng? Rumble. The ship continued forward. 9 Blade Knights sat in the ship and headed towards Primal Chaos City, to pick up Luo Feng and his group.